everyone, so this is my second video in the 5 videos I'm making to tell the history of how Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry came to be. And in the first video I went over a bit of how Islot, the founder, first came to America from Ireland, which if you haven't seen that video you can click right here to go and see it. And so this is the second part. So where we left off, Islot met William the Pukwudgie, and he promised to protect her and sort of show her this magical world in North America. And so they're going on this adventure and he's showing her many, many creatures like wampuses and thunderbirds and all the creatures that are just all over North America that they can easily find. But the one that she ends up becoming most interested in is the horned serpent. And she finds out that she can communicate with this horned serpent, possibly because of her background of being a descendant of Salazar Slytherin. So she can communicate with this horned serpent that they discover, and much to William's disapproval of her getting to know this horned serpent, she does, mostly behind his back. And throughout all of these communications with this horned serpent, it always seems to end up coming to this point that the horned serpent says, until I am part of your family is doomed. And she never really understood what that meant, and she kind of shook it off, but always kept it in the back of her mind, that statement, even though once again she never understood what it meant. And so she continues to go and visit the horned serpent every once in a while, but then she's also in the daytime still going on these adventures with William the Pukwudgie. And at one point they stumble upon this family that's getting highly beaten up by a hide-behind, and it happens to be the exact same hide-behind that terrorized them several weeks or months, I'm not sure, prior. And so they go and they defeat this hide-behind, but it's too late that the hide-behind had killed the 2 parents in this family, but it had spared, or not really spared, but hadn't quite gotten to killing the 2 children. And William highly disagreed with Islot when Islot wanted to go and take care of them and nurse these 2 children back to health. So William highly disagreed and said that he would not stick with her if she chose to take care of these 2 children. But she said she kind of ordered or reminded him that he was somewhat of in service to her, and if he helped her to bring these 2 children back to her house, that his sort of agreement or thing where he had to be in service to her would be over, and he could be free to go and do whatever he wanted. And he didn't really agree with this, but he did what she asked, and he helped bring the 2 children back to her house, and then he left. And so Islot nursed these 2 children back to health, even though at first she didn't believe that they would make it through the night. And so several weeks go by of her helping to nurse these 2 children back to health, and she learns that their names are Webster and Chadwick Boot. So after several weeks of nursing Webster and Chadwick back to health, once they were healthy enough, she decided to go back into the woods to give their parents a proper burial because she felt so bad at not doing it. But once she got there, she found that someone else was already doing that, and that someone else was named James Stewart. And James was a non-magical person, so when he went to go and pick up the Boots' parents' wands, what happened is what always happens when a non-magical person picks up a magical wand, is that the wand sent him back flying and knocked him unconscious. And so when he awoke, he was also in Islot's house, and she kind of had to go about explaining to him about the magical world to explain both what happened to the Boots' parents and what happened to him. And with that explaining, James also explained to her why he was burying the Boots' parents was because they originally lived in the same village as him, and he had become very friendly with the Boots family. And when they just disappeared in the woods one day and never came back for several weeks, he became very, very worried about them. So he went to go and look, and of course found the Boots' parents' bodies before Isolde did. So there was the explanation of the magical world to him, and the explanation of James' familiarity to the Boots family to her. And with the explanation and the weeks going by of helping Isolde to nurse the Boots' children back to health, as well as taking care of James, James and Isolde became fairly friendly with each other. And Isolde always had this thing in the back of her mind of wanting to just erase James's memory after a while of all the magical stuff and just to send him back to the village. But he was so friendly to her that and with his background in stone building, when he originally lived in England, he helped Isolde to build a whole lot better house than the one she was already living in. And so the weeks just continued to go by, where James worked on building the house, and Isolde sort of went about teaching Webster and Chadwick about magic through her wand, because it was the only wand available. And so Webster and Chadwick would a lot of times go out hunting with a wand to just practice using it. And so, once again, the weeks went by with all this, and the house was finally built, and they named it Ilvermorny, and James's memory was never erased. So that's what I'm going to go about saying for this second part, where now the Ilvermorny school is sort of fully started to be built. And with the next part, it's going to be a bit more of the founding of it becoming a school, and with Webster and Chadwick getting their own wands finally. And so that will be in part 3. So, yeah. Bye!